Yo, what is going on, Voyagers? Your boy Finicki back with another video, and I'm going to continue the trend that I normally do at the beginning of the season, and this is a little bit later, so I do apologize, but it is going to be the Season 8 tier list for the Legends. I'm going to be doing a weapons one, and at this point I feel like I'm pretty confident in this. I did it last season, and even though it was really accurate, I know it upset a lot of people because I kind of roasted some legends that were that people mained, and it just so happened to not be a good legend, and I may have roasted it. So I'm gonna try and cut back on the roast. If your legend's bad, I'm sorry. I will be specifically talking about the rank side of things and the competitive side of things. For those that are new and have no idea who I am, my name is Finicki. I play this game professionally. I have been to multiple ALGS finals. I have about 4,000 hours, and I've got about 65,000 kills, if that even matters. It might not even matter. You don't really care. You're just like, hey, I just want the information. Okay, perfect, gotcha. If you would, go down and hit the like button, and we will start the video right now. All right, here we go. So I actually added in the B+ and an A+ because I think there are legends that are in between kind of the tiers, and so I wanted to add that in. All right, so unfortunately there's only a single legend that lands here into the D category, and that is Rampart. And I think at this point, I think Respawn is going to have to do some sort of rework with her. She is pretty efficient whenever she is in the best spot, and they know where zone is. So if you are a solid individual and has a lot of ring knowledge and has a team comp that also assists her, whether that be a Caustic or maybe a Gibby, then you can see some success with Rampart in a competitive level. But for right now, you will not see a lot of Rampart being run in high-tiered ranked slash competitive. She does counter Caustic and do with her walls. So if you see a region with a lot of Caustics being used, you can maybe see a Rampart being used just to simply counter Caustic. It's about the only other legend that I can think of that actually fully counters Caustic besides another Caustic. Moving on to C tier, we are going to be going with the one, the only Bang, and I get a lot of hate for this. And I think the reason why is because I do have a lot of console people that follow me, and they might see a Bangler being used in high tier pred lobbies. And so I think this is where the differentiation between console gaming and PC gaming is. This is where the difference is. And the reason why Bangalore, I believe, is not as proficient, unless her name's obviously Shiv or a high-tiered Bangalore, I think then she could go maybe into an A tier. And she's a very niche pick when it comes to competitive and at the highest level of PC lobby for, like, say, a Predator game. The reason why her smokes are good, there's just other legends that do more. So like her ulti's a pretty okay, it zones fine, but the fact that it stuns its own teammates and it doesn't go off nearly as fast, you don't see Bangalore being used as much. I mean, if you have digi threat in the crafting, then maybe people will use Bang for that day, but I don't see a lot of people moving to Bang until they do some sort of change to maybe her ultimate, or maybe give her an extra smoke. So if she had 3 smokes and then they changed her ultimate, you could see her going into B+ A tier. And my final word on the whole Bangalore situation is, I think the reason why she's used more on console than she is on PC is because of looting. People being able to smoke themselves down and loot, because we can't move as controller players. So I think that is one of the main reasons why people want to use Bangalore on console comparatively to PC. Moving on to the next legend, we are actually going to be going with Mirage. Mirage is going to C. Almost made it to B because of footsteps alone whenever his decoys are moving, and that really throws you off. But I might get flack for this too, but it's just Mirage just doesn't do enough team wise. There's not enough I don't know, there's not enough good abilities on him to really do something crazy besides maybe like a 1v2 1v3 situation for Bean Boozled. Like I just, it feels real bad to say it, but it's just Mirage is just not a good character in the highest level of Apex Legends, and which is really unfortunate because he's a cool character, has a really cool concept, but he just doesn't do enough. That being said, I actually would probably put Bangalore above Mirage if we were giving them the two, because I do think Bang at least has smokes and that does something. So, but I'm still going to keep her in C. Sorry. All right, next we're going to be going over B, and that is going to be Fuse. And I really enjoyed Fuse the first few days whenever he came out. I think he has a really strong potential of some tweaks to his tactical to make this character into a to maybe A+ tier. I think if his tactical ability was able to fully stun somebody, as if you got hit by an arc star or something, then this character would be nuts because you're basically walking around with arc stars. His passive is really strong, being able to throw grenades across to freaking Narnia, which is really cool, and I do think that passive is really strong. And then his ulti, if we are to discuss it real quick, I would say his ulti is very good. That was one thing that when I was using him, realized is extremely powerful, and not really because of the damage, but because of the slow, which is why I think, once again, if his tactical really did stun, he would be a really strong character in this meta of being able to stop a third party type of situation. He's a solid overall offensive legend, and that's about it. So if you're a Fuse main, I appreciate you. I'm wanting to see some cool plays. I wish you the best of luck. I'm rooting for you. Next legend we're going to talk about is Watson, and I think it could be between like this. It could be B, it could be B+, it could be A. I don't know if she's quite A+ tier, but in professional play, I have seen a lot more Watson come up recently, being able to counter some Caustic traps, but at the same time, Caustic also counters like they both counter each other sort of, but I mean, if you see a lot of Caustic meta, you probably won't see a lot of Watson, but if you're seeing less Caustic, you'll see Watson come back up again. But for right now, she's barely used in ranked play, unless you're trying to play pretty defensive game and play zone, but in ranked, there's not a lot of people playing Watson, but if you do, it'd be good to just play defensive with her. She's not really as offensive as she used to be, just with how her ulti works now, which is super sad. That being said, I think she's an overall good character, good for region comp, being able to pair her with either a Bloodhound or Crypto, and then doing some sort of movement type of legend for rotation wise. So what, hitting a Gibby, Horizon, or Wraith, or Octane, I guess. That would probably be my recommendation for a Watson comp right now, but we're gonna stick her in B because I mean, I do have respect for those Watson mains out there, but dude, she's hard to play right now in ranked and in competitive. She feels good against certain other comps. Moving on to Loba, she is in a weird spot right now. I do think she provides a lot with her ultimate, being able to loot fast, loot efficiently, and then being able to rotate quickly. So she pairs well with a recon character. If her teleport was actually instant, like her tactical ability, I would see you would see a lot more Loba play, I think, in competitive, but for now she's not seeing a lot of competitive play. You will see her, this rank is pretty much solely based off of ranked gameplay, like pred lobbies, and yeah, that's about it with Loba. I think she's good. She could be a lot better if they choose to buff her tactical. So we're gonna move on to, sadly, Pathfinder, and this one hurts because of all of my friends that have played Pathfinder as a main. It is so sad to see how he is where he's at, like where the state of him is comparatively to like what he used to be. His ulti is obviously good. His passive, being able to use the recon thing, very good. But like, well, his new passive is pretty trash. Man, it's so bad with his tactical ability and his hitbox. Those two things make him now down to a B plus. You'll see him in ranked. He's gonna be a very niche pick, very similar to Watson in competitive play, but you might see him being used, but for the most part probably not, simply because of what Horizon does. Like, we'll get into that later. But man, Pathfinder has gone down this really sad spiral of sadness and refrigerator hitbox that's super easy to kill. But I mean, he still has his moments, but for the most part you won't see a lot of him. Next, we will be moving on to Lifeline, and man, this character, if it wasn't for the passive being able to like res somebody super quick, I don't think you'd see a lot of Lifeline being played right now. A lot of talks have been about her rework, but for now you're gonna only see her in ranked play. You will not see, I would be surprised if you saw Lifeline in competitive play unless it was a troll pick, and you won't see those in like later rounds. But Lifeline is not going to be the move, but this is a solely ranked playlist pick. It'll be very interesting to see what Respawn ends up doing with this character in the next few seasons, but for now you know why she's in B plus. It's because of her stinking res. Next, we're going to be talking about Octane, and this is a very heavy ranked pick right now. Not so much going to be a World's Edge competitive thing, just because of Horizon being able to do the height situation for Octane, but you will see a lot of Octane being played right now in ranked high tier due to rev pushes going together. So those two together are a pretty nasty combo, and if you aren't already getting hit by those two, you will probably whenever it gets into higher tier lobbies. The change to the Octane pad made this character extremely viable, and I do commend Respawn on making a very good buff to this character. So all you Octane mains, I give you props. You've made it this far. Now you get the spotlight, so I'll give it to you. And speaking of ranked, we are going to be moving Revenant to A+. This is a, once again, very heavy ranked pick. Right now on Kings Canyon, every time a Kings Canyon comes up, Rev is used because of how easy it is to just full send a team, compared to World's Edge, where a team can get out pretty easily. So you will be seeing this pick a lot, specifically paired with an Octane or a Wraith, to then use the ultis together, and once again makes a pretty nasty combo. The silence is really strong, but people don't really use it for the silence. They use it for the safety of being able to take a fight and know that they won't get inted on, as long as the rev puts the totem in the correct place. So he's an annoying character. He's actually, him and Caustic are the most annoying characters in the world to me, and it's annoying to see him back in meta, but for now that's what we got to deal with if it's on KC. So all you rev mains, congrats. And this is shocking maybe to some people if they don't know my background, but because I have so many kills on Wraith, this is the first time that I think I've ever put Wraith not in S tier, and because of the changes to her hitbox and other characters getting buffs, she's kind of moved into this A+ spot where she is used in most competitive comps right now, but some people are not running, so it's about 50-50 right now, and people are using Horizon instead of Wraith. And I will say it is cool to see a little bit of diversity of not using Wraith, and a lot of that's owed to Rogue and dropped, and I think it's not 0+, it's 0 something, the ranked grinders that have been using no Wraith for a while, and so I gotta give respect to that. You will see Wraith in every single competitive, like you'll see it in competitive and you'll see it in high tier ranked. She's just so good being able to use her abilities well. And yeah, that hurts to say, but yeah, Wraith is in A plus, just cause there are a lot of changes, a nerf and a buff to other characters. So here we go, down to the final stretch. Let's do this. Going into the S tier legends, we'll probably start with, I think, overall the best character in the game right now, and that is Horizon. She provides a lot of utility to your team, whether that be for the fight aspect with her ultimate, or her tactical, being able to get your team to different places, get you out of a sticky situation. I think Horizon, these 3 picks are so undeniably strong right now. And Gibby has been for a while, Caustic has been for a while, but with Horizon being kind of the forefront and taking the place of Wraith right now, it is kind of cool to see. Once again, I mentioned that having Wraith out of the meta sort of is very interesting, but this is a high tier pick. I will say using her passive well, being able to move left to right and like in the air is something that makes a good Horizon to a great Horizon, and you'll be able to see that with high tier gameplay of people using Horizon correctly. And yeah, this is a ranked and a competitive side of pick, so you'll be seeing a lot of this. Next, we're gonna go over Caustic, and if you haven't watched my latest video, I talked about how I think Caustic could be nerfed recently, but will also be still in the meta and makes him very strong. But for now, Caustic is very overpowered, whether you're holding down a building or you're able to take a fight and then be able to stop a third party, or just take a building in general. Like that by itself with one character is kind of nuts. Being able to throw an ultimate down, cause mass chaos, and only problem is like being able to rotate from one place to another. But he is such a strong character at the moment that there's not a lot of flaws to him. Him having fortified also makes him insane. All of those things rolled into one makes this character really strong to have, either playing edge or in center zone. So Caustic's just really good. I mean, there's not a bad time to be using him. Last but not least, I mean, a very viable pick that's been viable for a few seasons now, and I think it's, if you have a good Gibby on your team, I think it makes such a good difference being able to place your bubble to provide you with that 13 to 15 seconds worth of comfortability and like just time to figure out what you're wanting to do. Being able to push a fight with a bubble, giving you protection, being able to use a mastiff more efficiently, all kinds of stuff. The ultimate doing so much damage in a late game team fight, or being able to zone a team out of a situation. This character is nuts, and so you'll see Gibby used everywhere per usual. And yeah, I think that actually is gonna hit everything. Like the gun shield, I forgot to mention on Gibby, also just real good. I mean, what's bad about Gibby is his hitbox, and that's the only thing. And if you can get into a spot and use Gibby well, it is game over. It doesn't matter how big his hitbox is, you won't kill him because of fortified. Okay, yeah, so that should be it about hit every single legend. I know it may have hurt some feelings on some legends, and I would love to hear, I would love to hear down in the comments, you agree, disagree, what reasoning, where you would place what legend where, and all of that jazz. But this has been my tier list for season 8 legends. I hope you guys have a good day, and God bless. Deuces, baby.